Hello, this is Junior reading. Today we are going to read The Kingdom of Wrenly, Book 1, The Lost Stone by Jordan Queen, illustrated by Robert M.C. Phillips. Contents: Chapter 1, A Secret Mission. Chapter 2, Lucas the Brave. Chapter 3, Kindness is King. Chapter 4, Hurry, hurry. Chapter 5, A Rural Adventure. Chapter 6, A Rainbow Frost. Chapter 7, Hambo. Chapter 8, Olaf. Chapter 9, Mermaid Magic. Chapter 10, Scallop. Chapter 1, A Secret Mission. Prince Lucas raced up the spiral stone staircase in the castle to his bedroom. He kneeled on the floor and then put a pair of clothes out from under his bed. There were a pair of worn trousers, a shabby shirt, a felt hat, scruffy leather boots, and a wool cloak. Lucas had gotten the clothes from the handful of coins from a boy in the village. Now, the prince stood before a mirror and tried it on the head. This outfit will make me look like a normal 8-year-old boy, he thought. Nobody will ever know that I'm the Prince of Wrenly. And that was the problem. Lucas had grown bored of being a prince. Most kids would think he must be crazy. Lucas had everything a boy or a girl could wish for. A cozy goose-fed bed, toys fit for a prince, the best cooks in the land to make his meals, and a view of the sea from the top of the street. Lucas had even had his own horse, named Ivan. But there was one thing a prince did not have: friends. A friend more than anything in the world. He had a friend once, a pretty green-eyed girl named Clara Quills. Clara's mother, Anna, made the dresses for Lucas's mother, Queen Tasha, and always brought Clara when she came to the castle. Clara and Lucas had played hide and seek and twirled on sticks with the royal playroom, but not anymore. Lucas's father, King Clab, had forbidden it. He said the proper prince does not play with the village children. Lucas had cried until his nose got stuffy. So, day after day, Lucas watched the village children walk from school. Sometimes they stopped at the bakery for breadsticks. In the afternoons, Lucas watched the children climb trees and play tag in meadows. How he longed to laugh and play with them. And now maybe I can have friends, he thought, because I am Prince Lucas and I have a magnificent plan. But Lucas had to hurry. It was time to go. He stuffed the worn clothes in a sack, then slung in the sack over his shoulder. Next, he tied a thick rope to the windowsill, crawled onto the ledge, and slid down the rope, and ran to the stables where he settled Ivan. Lucas checked to see if anyone was around. All clear, he thought. He hopped onto Ivan. He gave him a small kick and galloped away on his secret mission. Chapter 2, Lucas the Brave. Lucas dashed over the bridge and down to the village. Kitchens squawked and scattered to get out of his way. The villagers bowed and tipped their heads as he rode by. Clang, clang! The school bell rang down the lane. Lucas slapped the reins and hurried downward the sound of the bell. As he drew nearer, he leaped over a stone wall and came to rest. He hoped that the saddle and quickly changed clothes. Lucas tucked his curly red hair inside his felt coat. And then he grabbed a handful of dirt and smudged it on his cheeks. He tied Ivan to a low tree branch and hung a sack with princely clothes from the saddle. Well, Ivan, here it goes. Lucas climbed over the stone wall and stood in front of the schoolhouse. A swirl of smoke came from the chimney. Lucas took a deep breath. Today, I am Lucas the Brave, he said to himself. Then he marched up to the schoolhouse and slowly pulled open the school doors. Scream! The children sat in front of the teacher and benches. Everyone turned to stare at Lucas. A girl with a thin braid crowning her blue gasped and cupped her hand over her mouth. Good morning, boy, the teacher said. Are you here to join us? Yes, said Lucas. I am new in town. Please have a seat, she said. I'm Mrs. Cornton. What's your name? My name is Flynn, breathed the prince as he sat down on the bench and the back of the classroom. Welcome, Mistress Carson said. Class, please say good morning to Flynn. Good morning, Flynn, said the class. Now, all eyes on me, said the teacher. We're going to work on subtraction. The kids turned toward the teacher, all except a girl with a braided crown. It was Clara, Lucas's old friend from the palace. She looked at the prince and raised her eyebrow. Prince winked at her. She smiled and quickly looked away. Nobody else had noticed. Mrs. Clarkson legislated in front of the classroom. Now, who would like to solve the problem at the board, she asked. Princess's hands shot up. Who loved to add and subtract. Father had taught him math at home. Mr. Clarkson called Lucas up to the board. The children watched the new boy walk to the front of the class. I'm going to have lots of friends, Lucas thought. Then he began to work on the problem. The room was quiet, except the chalk tapping at the board, until boom, 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 someone began to pound on the doors to school. Children jumped on the seats. Lucas froze. His heart began to stamp. The teacher hurried at the back of the room and opened the doors. Two burly men burst in. Lucas dropped his chalk onto the floor. Oh no! He saw the palace guards. He wanted to run, but the doors were blocked. There he is! Shouted one of the guards. And that is the Prince of Wrenly. Mrs. Carson and the children gasped. But the other guard ran toward the prince and grabbed him by the arm and led him toward the doors. Clara waved Lucas as he walked by. Goes home, he said. Nah, I'll never have any friends, he thought. Chapter 3. Kindness Kink. King clapped threw Lucas's present clothes into the fireplace. Then it burst into flames. What were you thinking? Cried King Caleb. You are a royal prince. You must not behave like one peasants. Are not equal to yours. But father, I have no friends, said Lucas. I am bored out of my royal business. You should spend more time with my nuts, suggested the king. You could train with them. It's not the same, said Lucas. I'm lonely and I need a friend of my own age. I want somebody to talk to, and most of all, someone to go adventures with me. The king sighed. He hated to see his son unhappy, but he couldn't allow him to be with friends with the peasants. Even they could think it was strange. He looked up at Lucas. Your mother, Queen Tasha, for help. Her father is right. The queen brushed her long red hair. But you're also right, Lucas. You do need a friend. He looked at the husband. Anna Gills is like family to me, Queen Tasha. And her daughter, Clara, was like a sister to Lucas. Perhaps you should allow them to play together a while. King Caleb rubbed his blonde beard softly. He was a mighty king, but he had a kind heart. All right, Lucas, he said. I suppose you made friends with Clara, but you may even make friends with a peasant child in the kingdom of Wrenly. Prince Lucas ran to his father's arms. Thank you, father, he said. I promise. Chapter 4. Hurry! Lucas couldn't wait to tell for Clara and her mother to arrive at the palace, so he didn't. He snuck out and raced the other way to the bakery. Clara always went to the bakery after school. Her father and girls worked there. Lucas peeked down the lane. The school children are coming, he thought. Couldn't wait to see him. So she pressed her stamp in the wall alongside the bakery. Then he listened and what they were saying. Why on earth would the prince come to our school with us? Asked the boy named Alan. Maybe he's lonely, Clara said. I feel sorry for him, cooped up in the castle all day. The children laughed and Clara. How sorry can you feel for a prince? A girl named Rosa. The prince has everything, said another girl named Ashley. Not everything, said Clara. He doesn't have a single friend. He's not even allowed to play with me when I visit the palace with my mother. Well, I trade places with him any day, said Adeline. I love to live like a prince. I know it sounds a perfect life, said Clara, but the Clara is fine clothes and delicious food are everything. Bells jingled as the children stepped into the bakery. Moments later, our children carried a roll of warm buttered bread in the bench outside. Lucas's mouth watered. How he wished he could join them. As he waited, he heard a horse whinny. Somebody began to shout. Hurry, hurry, he cried. The Queen of Wrenly lost her prize emerald stone. The king has offered a grand reward for anyone who finds it. The villagers began to hurry and spread the news. Oh no! Thought Lucas. I must get back to the palace. Lucas left his hiding place and they ran all the way to home, being careful not to stay in the shadows. Chapter 5. A Rural Adventure. Queen Tastra sat at her dressing table, drying her eyes with a silk handkerchief. Let's put her hands in her mother's shoulder. Knew the emerald meant a lot to her. It had belonged to her great-grandmother. Don't cry, mother, he said. I'm going to find your emerald. His mother smiled weakly. Then she picked up the golden chain from where her stone was no longer dangled. It could be anywhere, she said sadly. I've been all over the kingdom these past 2 days. Where haven't you traveled to? Lucas asked. The queen thought of a moment. I went to Peace at the Barkbrews and the Hogwarts, she said. Lucas said, You're right. It could be anywhere, he said. But have no fear. I'm going to find it. I'll need help though. What kind of help? He said. Mother asked. Clara's help, said Lucas. The queen smiled and nodded. All right, she said. You may have my permission. Thank you, Mother, said Lucas. I will find your emerald. Later that afternoon, Clara and her mother arrived at the palace. Lucas grabbed Clara from her hand and raced to the royal playroom. Then he told her his idea. We'll search for the mystery jewel together? Clara asked. Exactly, replied Lucas. Will the parents allow it? Asked Clara with a frown. They already have after what happened today, said Lucas. What do you mean? Clara asked. After I caught it at schoolhouse, my parents agreed to let us be friends again. You mean you didn't get into trouble? Questioned Clara. No, I think they felt sorry for me. Why? Because I don't have any friends. Clara sat on the swing and looked at Lucas. Isn't it being a prince? Asked Clara. No, it's dull being a prince, said Lucas. I'm lonely, and I can't even be friends with ordinary children. That really stinks, said Clara. Lucas laughed. Well, at least we can be friends, he said. That's great news, Clara said. So where do we start to search? Right now, said Lucas. Our first adventure will be epic. I love adventures, said Clara. Then let's make a plan, said Lucas. Lucas laid a map on the great kingdom. Then they marked all the places Queen Tasha had been over the past 2 days. Clara knew the kingdom really well. She had delivered bread to all the lands with her father. I'll be your guide, Clara said. I can hardly wait, said Lucas. How about we meet outside at the cottage house after breakfast? There's no school tomorrow, so I can be there, said Clara. Can I ask a small favor? Said Lucas. Sure. Will you bring me some butternut bread from the bakery? Clara laughed. Only if you bring some yummy sausage from the royal pantry, she said. Deal, said Lucas. Chapter 6 Rainbow Frost. Rains and the small brown birds that gave the kingdom its name twittered and the treetops as Lucas and Clara boarded it at the royal carriage. They would have traveled though Flasport was over the bridge inside of Plumbox. Lucas stuffed the map of the kingdom back into his pocket, just in case they needed. 4 magical islands surrounded and made Wrenly. Primrose was ruled by the fairies. Hawksworth was known for the island of the wizards. And the king of dragons ruled the woods of Crestwood. The birds belonged to the trolls. The island was protected by the kingdom of Wrenly, but each island was smaller than the kingdom itself. Caleb had much work to do after he had kept the islands untied. Sometimes there was trouble, but for now all was well. As the carriage entered the plum box, Lucas and Clara saw Fairy Queen Sophia floating before her castle. Queen Sophia in shimmering golden wings and a rainbow jeweled tiara. All the fairies were clothes made out of ferns, feathers, acorns, and flowers. Clara could tell they used enchanted thread to sew their clothes because all their outfits sparkled. Thousands of smooth pebbles the roof shingling in the sails, and the windows were made out of sea glass ruffled by cobbled sea. The fairies floated toward the carriage. Welcome, Prince Lucas, said Queen Sophia. Thank you, said Lucas. This is my friend Clara. We've come to search for my mother's lost emerald. She said she visited Primrose just yesterday. I am saddened to hear of a loss. Follow us. We will help you retrieve our steps. Lucas and Clara followed the fairies along a path. They crossed an arched bridge into the garden of strawberries. All the fruit in the kingdom of Wrenly was grown in Primrose. Primrose was known for a sweet orange blossom honey. In the middle of a garden of the strawberries, Clara saw little tables from the tree stumps. Bordered trinket chairs and the red-white dotted stools made of mushrooms surrounded by each table. Queen Tasha had minty berries on the ground, the Queen Sophia said. Set for there. Clara and Lucas began to search for the emerald, looked around the tables, under the chairs, and throughout the whole garden. But the only thing they could find was a ladybug. Ladybugs are a sign of good luck, said Queen Sophia with a smile. We could use a little luck, said Lucas. Follow me, said Queen Sophia. Your mother also strode a maze of hedges. What's the maze of hedges? Asked Clara. It's a maze formed by many rows of trim bushes, Queen Sophia explained. Lucas and Clara stepped into the maze. They followed a path between the hedges. They could see it over the tops of the bushes, but that didn't matter since they had to keep their eyes from the ground. They zigzagged through the narrow dirt and searched for the emerald. Sometimes the path led to a dead end. Then they had to turn around and go another way. Sophia and her ladies were waiting floor overhead to help guide them. They would their way to the fountain in the center of the maze. There was no sign of the emerald. They searched the other part of the maze until they reached the next exit. Still no emerald. Lucas and Clara sat down, and the fairies greeted them with a tray of lemonade. A small nervous-looking fairy named Rainbow Frost fluttered and stepped. I may have a clue finding the lost emerald, said Fairy in a high-pitched voice. What is it? Asked Sophia. I was in a lovely green town in the stinky grove yesterday. I was going to pick it up, but my hands were sticky from collecting honey. I was in the fountain, but when I returned, it was gone. Did my mother visit the grove? Asked Lucas. I'm afraid not, said Sophie. But it's possible the bird had mistaken the sound for food and dropped it there. Oh no, cried Clara. What means a bird could fly just anywhere? That's true, Frost said. I'm not sure what happened. Why not? Asked Lucas. Because I saw a big troll in the circus grove, Frost said. And everyone knows troll cannot reduce treasure. Do you know his name? Clara asked. His name is Hammerbone. The fairy said. We must leave for boost once, said Lucas. Let's go, Clara said. When Sophia loaned Lucas and Clara to the boat and to sail to Boost quickly. They also gave her a bundle of treats, which Clara tucked into a satchel. Lucas and Clara thanked the fairies and waved goodbye. Chapter 7. Hamburg. Nobody greeted Lucas and Clara in the island of Bruce. The trolls were neither friendly nor enraging. They worked hardly and grew vegetables in the entire kingdom. The kids walked into the village. Lucas tapped the sleeping troll on the shoulder. He snorted and grumbled his eyes. What do you want? He grumbled with the one eye closed. We'd like to hire a horse, he said. Lucas. What for? Asked the other troll. To visit a troll named Hammerbone, said Lucas. Do you know where he lives? Pay up, said the troll. Lucas dropped coins in the troll ants. Troll smiled and bit the coin. He lives in the old tinder road. This don't remember the sign in the persimmon, said the troll. And don't tell him I sent you. So Lucas and Clara mounted the horses and galloped and steep froggy mountains toward the island of Bruce. The earth smelled of garlic. They passed the fields of the corn, and rows of turnips and gardens of parsley. Soon the road began to go up, and twisted it around and around a mountainside. Lucas and Clara passed a cave of dwelling along the way. Whoa! Go back, Clara said. We just passed a crescent moon. They tied the horse to a hitching post and knocked on the door. Marked with a crescent moon, a purple troll with green eyes and wild hair answered the door. Looked down at Lucas and Clara, up and down. We came for the Queen Natasha's Rose Emerald, said Lucas. Do you have it? The troll recognized the boy as the prince. He knew better than to play games with the son of the king. I found it in a citrus grove when I was gathering oranges, said Hammer. Big grin spread across his face. But I no longer have it, he said gruffly. I traded it for someone with hair potion. Lucas smiled and disappeared. So, what's it now? A wizard, said Hammer. Which one? Lucas demanded. Wizard named Olaf, he said the troll. Now be off. And he shut the door with a thump. Looks like the adventure is far from over, said Lucas. Too hot for Lucas and Clara raced back to the dock, boarded their ship, and sailed to Hawksburg, the island of wizards. Chapter 8. Olaf. The ship sailed past the island of crystal. Dragons played around the hitch sides and roared overhead. Some snoozed and caged under the trees of a great pine forest, smoking plumb the steam from the center of the island. Soon the ship docked at Hawksburg. The thick cloud of fog hung over the island, even when it was sunny everywhere else. Hawksburg was always green. Ivy crept over the dark walls and the spirals in the castle. And where Andrea and William, the two brothers who ruled Hawksburg, lived. Andrea was known to be kind and friendly, but Gordon was not. He liked to keep himself spending most of his time drawing castle basement mixing potions. Many of the wizards on the island of Hawksburg worked by the hearts of the thatched roofs homes. Their clutches burned with magical healing potions that were made from the kingdom of Wrenly. A young wizard brought Lucas and Clara to Olaf's dark, smoky house. Olaf stood over the cauldron he formed in the forest. Lucas asked the Blackbeard wizard if the missing emerald. The wizard shook his head glumly. No, he said. Probably in which of Borgorov cost me something years ago. What does it have to be about the missing emerald? Asked Clara. The wizard looked at him with several eyes. The emerald fell from my hands after I returned from the bruise. It tumbled over a hollow cliff and into the sea. Oh no, Lucas cried. The emerald belonged to my mother, Queen Tasha. That's most unfortunate, said the wizard. Don't tell her. I'm sorry. Lucas kicked the stone in the path as he and Clara headed back to the dock. What are you going to do now? He asked. Go diving for it? I have a better idea, said Clara. Let's go to Mermaid Cove. What for? Leave a message in the sand for mermaids, said replied Clara. So it got going to help. Maybe the mermaids can find the animal, he said. They always find the most beautiful shells and leave them in the beach for me. And how do you know that the mermaids is not for tides? Lucas asked. Because the shores are polished and perfect. None of them have been broken or rocks and waves. Lucas sighed and looked toward the mainland. It was a try, said Clara. I suppose, said Lucas. Boarded the ship and headed for Mermaid Cove. Chapter 9. Mermaid Magic. As the Mermaid Cove with the pink coral and sparkled in the armored sky. Lucas and Clara kicked off their shoes and walked along the beach, looking for a perfect spot. Here, this is a good place, said Clara, and kicked down her knees. Lucas looked out on as Clara wrote a message in the sand with the same stick. Dear mermaids, when Tasha's emerald has been lost in the sea of Hoff Cliff. Can you find it? Thank you for all the beautiful shells. Love, your friend Clara. Lucas laughed. You're crazy, he said. Clara laughed. I'm also hungry. Let's have a picnic. Clara unwrapped the treats from the fairies that gave them, and she sat by Lucas and they talked, laughed, eating bread, cheese, grapes. Lucas smiled. I may not have found my brother's emerald, but he said, but I found one thing. What? Asked Clara. A real friend, Lucas said. Me too. Clara said, I'm glad we can spend time together. Lucas nodded. We'd better get going. The sun's starting to set. Lucas and Clara dipped their toes in the water and started to walk to the beach. Look at your message, she said. It's already been washed to the tide. Shall I write it again? Clara said. No. Oh, I'll just head home, Lucas said. We can come back tomorrow. He sat on a rock and put the shoes. Some shells caught Clara's attention. Wow, those are beautiful, she said. Lucas is looked at the cluster of shells, perfectly displayed on sand. Were the shells here when you arrived? No, her said. Her eyes grew wide. The mermaids again? Asked Ruben. I'm serious, said Clara, and gently placed in the satchel. Clara loved to collect seashells. But we've been on the beach the whole time, said Lucas. And you didn't see a single mermaid. Well, said Clara, mermaids are very sly. She picked up the half-scalloped sea. They're sly, I never see one, said Lucas. Clara heard the Lucas. It's pretty. He said, open it, said Clara. Lucas opened the shell. He expected to see a clump of sand, but he saw something else. My mother's emerald, he cried. How could it be? Mermaids, corrected they. Lucas gazed to the sea. Then he looked out at the emerald. He couldn't believe it. Okay, he shouted to the sea. I believe. Lucas ran on the shore and the soup stood right in the sand. Your mermaids, thank you for finding my mother's emerald. Oh, the Clara and I hope to meet you someday. Her friends Lucas and Clara Quiggles. Lucas put the emeralds in his pocket. Clara placed an empty satchel in her satchel. For my collection, he said with a smile. I would have never found it without you. What a friend for? Clara asked. Lucas smiled. Raced to the palace, then quickly put on their shoes and raced off. Chapter 10. Scallop. Lucas and Clara burst into Clara's hall. King Khalid and Queen Tasha looked up from their chess game. What's all the fuss? Asked the king. He reached in his pocket and wrapped a finger out the emerald. We have a special surprise for mother, he said excitedly. Lucas pulled out a fist of her pocket and opened his hand to reveal the emerald. Queen Tasha put her hand in hers. Oh, precious, brave, wonderful boy, his mother exclaimed. It was me, mother, said Lucas. Clara found it. We boasted, said Clara. It was a real royal goose chase, Lucas added. But Clara was actually the one who found it. She's very clever, mother. Thank you, Clara, said the queen. Clara questioned. The king Caleb was very grateful. You will receive a handsome reward, he said. Follow me. Lucas, Clara, and Queen Natasha followed Queen Caleb through a heavy oak door through down to the spiral of the stone staircase. They walked by the way in the royal stables. The queen stepped in front of the stall. A beautiful mane horse and black mane, black tail, white stocks, and black hoops was waiting for them. Clara, this is your reward, said the king. Clara gasped. You may ride it whenever you want to visit the palace. She's beautiful, cried the peasant. Thank you, Caleb. What do you like to call her? Clara looked at the horse's eyes. I'd like to call her Scallop, said, because we found her in an emerald in the scallop scale. Yeah, very good choice, said the king. He then put his arms around Lucas and Clara. I owe you two an apology. I'm sorry I didn't let you two play together before. It's okay, Clara said. We know it's hard to be a king, Lucas added. The king and queen both laughed. But they went back to the palace. Clara linked her arm around Lucas. Hey, friend, will you go riding with me? Lucas smiled. I sure will.